Storm Track 12 meteorologist Lesto with you on our Thursday morning. We're going to be tracking a lot of high-level clouds through the area here, and at least the next couple days we're going to get a chance to dry out before we've got a couple bigger storms that we're going to be tracking coming our way. Again, we're going to be looking at the jet stream map here of storms quickly coming into the west coast and flying across the country. Now, a couple weak systems that we're going to be tracking, one coming through late tonight and another one coming through later Sunday going into Monday. But about every 36 hours, we are going to have some systems coming through here. For the most part, chance to dry out for the day today and even tomorrow as well. Again, there's a couple of those bigger storms. One I'm watching on Sunday. That's going to be rainfall for us here. Another one Tuesday, Wednesday next week. And we'll talk down here a little bit about it. It potentially could bring a wintry mix. Again, a lot of details need to be worked out on that. Timing. The storm system itself is well way out in the Pacific Ocean, but it is something we're going to be watching as we go on through the next several days. All right, speaking of rainfall, here's the reason why we need a chance to dry out. About a half inch to across the area, definitely more than a third of an inch, about a half inch for the most part over the last day and a half to 2 days. And you can see along and east of Highway 17, very wet. And you'll notice that green and even the lighter yellow kind of showing more on the wetter side of the scale. As you head out towards the Outer Banks, very wet out there along the coastal sections here because of the pattern that we've been in. We're looking at about 75 to 90% of normal as far as precipitation has been concerned. Now, we will get some clouds around for the day today. Let's head to downtown Washington. Use that as the waterfront as a backdrop here for our forecast. High-level clouds out there. We call this Markle sky just because it's kind of those high, thin cirrus clouds. There's a possibility, though. We may actually see some sundogs out there because of the sun going through those high, thin cirrus clouds that kind of act as prisms, and it potentially could give us some sundogs for later this morning into the early afternoon hours. We'll look for temperatures, though, only holding into the mid-40s as we go on through the day today. Definitely different than where we were yesterday. As we go overnight tonight, we are going to be looking at temperatures at or just slightly below freezing, dropping down with a little system coming through. Could be a spotty sprinkle along the Crystal Coast, but really it's not going to be that big of a deal. And then for the day tomorrow, lots of sunshine, maybe some high-level clouds starting to come in late in the day. And notice the temperature is a little bit warmer as we're going to be getting up to near 50 tomorrow. All right, let's take a look at where we topped out at yesterday. Boy, again, I said it was going to be a wide range here. Northern counties stayed into the low 50s. Central counties near 60, near 70, though, in some areas like Richlands to New Bern. And cool at the coast just because of the ocean water temperatures here. Again, we're not going to be seeing any 70-degree readings, though, for a while. 56 and 35, that's averages. That's where we should be for this time of year. All right, let's track those high-level clouds. It's a weak little system that's out there in Oklahoma, starting to pull some moisture through Texas. Most of it, it's just kind of riding along to the jet stream level. That's the weak little system going by to our south tonight. And then as we head on in through the weekend here, we're already starting to get some of the ingredients coming together for our next storm system. Big low pressure dropping down out of the Gulf of Alaska. The Pineapple Connection starting to show up out there as you got those clouds coming from Hawaii. The pattern has been these storms will quickly race across the country. About every 2 to 3 days, we're going to be looking at some bigger storms as we head on into the upcoming week. So here's what that jet stream looks like again. Remember those clouds from Texas riding up through the deep south heading to us here. That's why we've got the cloud cover out there. Here's our trough digging in across the northern Rockies, and that does progress southeastward here. But the reason we're not going to get a big, huge East Coast storm this week is because there's a little bit of just jointness here. You notice this trough kind of coming out through the central plains, the northern branch not phasing in with it, so we don't get one of these full latitude troughs with a low pressure developing here and racing up the coast. Although, again, I think we are going to get a wave of low pressure to develop more out like this than straight up the coast. Cold air stays bottled up across the northern plains, but you'll notice as we do go into early next week, it at least gets shoved southbound here. Heights do lower a little bit, and as a result, we're going to be watching for a potential of a storm coming our way Tuesday or Wednesday and kind of see how that plays out. Here's how we go on through the day today. High-level clouds out there. Again, potentially could see some of those sundogs. Clouds kind of thicken up from southwest and northeast later this afternoon. Notice future track trying to pick up on maybe Pender County, Onslow County. Could be a spotty sprinkle, maybe a flurry late tonight, early tomorrow morning. But again, this is not a big deal from basically where the cloud base is down to the ground is so dry, if anything develops up here in the cloud, it'll probably evaporate as it heads to the ground here. But I'll leave in a sprinkle or flurry just in case. Not that big of a deal. It's on out of here. Notice clouds quickly clearing out, and I think by sunrise tomorrow morning, we'll see some sunny skies and a decent amount of sunshine as we do progress on through the day tomorrow. Again, maybe some high clouds start to build in later tomorrow afternoon, but lots of sunshine will be around, and again, slightly warmer temperatures. All right, here's our storm system now starting to develop. Showers will be with us starting at sunrise on Saturday, and for most of the day, we're going to be looking at some pretty good rainfall coming down. Model's trying to hint at maybe some colder air trapped in the northern counties. It's something I'm going to watch. It kind of depends on where the storm system forms and just how quickly it forms, but it is a possibility. We could see a little light wintry mix, northern Bertie County, northern Martin County, possibly, as we head into the late afternoon hours on Saturday. But again, I'm not overly concerned about that situation right now. That looks like more so as you head up towards Norfolk, Virginia, where that potential could be as that cold air kind of drills in on those northerly winds. So as we go through today, high-level clouds are out there, cooler temperatures, sunshine, warmer temperatures tomorrow. There's our storm system for Saturday. We catch the break in between Sunday and Monday. And then again, Tuesday, Wednesday is kind of up in the air. The main storm system itself is still well out into the Pacific Ocean. We really won't get a good handle on that Tuesday, Wednesday situation probably until Saturday or Sunday when the system actually gets into our upper air analysis over the United States here. And again, it's a fairly fast flow. Have to see if we get some phasing. Cold air is going to be around to be able to be tapped. So that is one thing that I am concerned about. NAO, the North American Oscillation, kind of positive right now, head towards neutral, but you don't really get that blocking as we would look for. We'll see. I'm keeping an eye on it. We'll continue to keep you updated. Have yourself a good Thursday. I'm Storm Track 12 meteorologist Les Still.